Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. Congratulations on that big win at Southern.
Thank
Um,
you.
so the previous week, Andrew Body led the team in rushing, but this past Saturday, you leaned more on Holtzclaw, Ligon, and Harris, and that helped limit some of Body's carries. Was that more about protecting him, or was there something that you saw in the Southern's defense that made you want to attack with the backs?
Yeah, I think Andrew is a talent. I mean, he's a talented quarterback. He's playing at a high level, and so every defense is going to have a different approach. I mean, they play tight man coverage, blitz quite a bit, and so some of those run lanes for the quarterback just wasn't there. When he stepped up at times, he couldn't get out the pocket. So kudos to those guys. They did a great job defensively of keeping him in the pocket, and so the running game was doing really well. Cam Smith, the big offensive lineman for us, had an exceptional game. Played tough and physical the whole time. And so the running backs, it was just their day. And so I think week to week offensively, you just kind of have to figure out what's working. And then obviously you're going to stick with what's working, but that was just the game plan for this week.
Coach Thomas.
Good morning, ma'am.
Um, you had a offense that put up 31 points this week after struggling early in the season. Can you talk a little bit about Jacorian Sewell and Reggie Davis and establishing that run game and how important that is moving forward for your offense?
Yeah, most definitely. And also the offensive line. Those guys did a really good job of creating a new line of scrimmage, and that's who Sewell is. He got home run speed. You see him on an 80-yard run. Reggie, feels at the point of attack and play behind his pads. I thought that offensive staff just did a really good job of having a good game plan versus a really good defense who had some really good plays against the Arkansas team. And so, those guys, we expect that year in, week in and week out, and just continue to do that and run the football to set up the pass game. And so we expect them guys to do that, every week. And we just got to get the other side of the ball caught up so we can play a consistent brand.
Thank you, Coach, and good luck this week.
Appreciate it.
Good morning, Coach Colzie. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Mr. Poon. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So offensively, sometimes it's kind of hard to pinpoint like the success or failure because, like you said, it was an FBS opponent. But as you prepare for Albany State, it's a Division II team. So will you look to try some different things with your quarterback and your depth and open up both your offense and defense a little bit more this weekend?
Well, I mean, we can't worry about the opponent, right? I mean, we got to make sure we take care of what we need to do, specifically offensively. We just need to get into a rhythm. It's taking us too long to get into the rhythm that we need to do to be successful defensively. Obviously from the first game compared to the second, the numbers were not where they needed to be. But that just boils down to us, just tackling better and getting to the football a heck of a lot faster than we may have shown this past Saturday. And you can't forget about the special teams. When you go against an FBS opponent, you can't have breakdowns in the special teams and getting a pump block, that kind of deflated us a little bit. But all three facets, regardless of who we're playing, we just got to be better. But specifically offense, getting in a better rhythm, defense just getting to the ball and tackling a heck of a lot better, and then special teams just showing up some of our philosophy and schematical errors that we had the last 2 weeks.
Thank you, Coach.
No problem.
Hey, Coach Hampton, how you doing?
How you doing, Ms. Stapleton?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So you have the up and coming game against Lincoln, and I feel like when you're playing a D2 team, you're able to open up your offense and defense a little bit more. What adjustments are you looking for, especially with the defense, because you guys had 600 yards put up on you this past week, especially with Alcorn and Texas Southern coming up, and these are some very important games for the SWAC West.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Alcorn. I'm not worried about Texas Southern. Our only concern is Lincoln. And yeah, we did give up 600 yards, but a lot of those yards are things that we did. It wasn't what the opponent did. We're giving credit because they won the game. But again, I don't think you got to go and do anything different. That's why you go through spring football. That's why you go through fall camp. You don't have to go make a massive change. If you're making massive changes right now, that means you were never on the right path. We're always been on the right path. And we got to be consistent. Our guys got to be disciplined to do their jobs. And we, as coaches, we have to take ownership of our players not doing what we ask them to do. So we all take responsibility in that. And so this week, regardless of the opponent, we got to go out there and do what we do. We're a spread offense. All right? We're a tempo offense. And when you're a tempo offense, you need to be able to get first down, right? And when you do the things that we're doing on defense, everybody needs to be locked in. The calls have to get from the linebacker to the secondary. And so we're doing a lot of great things. It's just the 4 or 5 plays when you don't all communicate the same thing. That's when bad things happen. So this week, I think, as I said before, I've challenged my coaches. We need to do the things that our players can do over and over, all right, without making a mistake. We can wake up in the morning and get to practice field and get it done without making mistakes. So we're starting to eliminate things that we're having errors in that we haven't corrected. So we're not going to add anything. And like I said, I was listening to a Georgia Tech coach talk. He said, we only run 4 plays. So why does everybody want to run a lot of plays or call a lot of defense if your kids are messing it up? And I'm a high school teacher. So my motto is KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. All right. Like we don't have to do all this other stuff because everybody's doing it. Let's just do what we do and do it better than what everybody else can do. And so that's where we at as a program. We'll continue to fine tune the things that we want to do on offense, defense, and special teams. And that's going to help us as a program move forward.
Okay, good luck this weekend, Coach. Good morning, Coach Jackson. How you doing?
Morning.
So I kind of took my question about the quarterback, but Rockwell, your receiver, did have a 98-yard effort. The offense still struggled to finish drives. How much of that falls on quarterback play, and what are you going to adjust offensively against Rice?
Yeah, it doesn't fall on quarterback play. It falls on me. And so what we're going to do is get off this call with y'all and go in here to this meeting and get our problems fixed. It starts and it ends with me when you're in this seat. We're not going to sit around and blame players. Obviously, I did a bad job of getting them ready to play. And that just is what it is. And so I can fix me. That's the one thing I can fix. I can't control the ticket prices and popcorn and all that, but I can fix me. And so we're gonna certainly get this fixed because I told everybody while we're here, I mean that, and we still stand on that.
Thank you, Coach. Good morning, Coach Dishman. How you doing?
Ms. Mona, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. First off, I just want to let you know I'm still available if you need a dual threat quarterback. But on a serious note, your defense showed flashes of toughness against Cal. Despite the loss, Isaiah Bogarty, he led the way. I think he had like 10 tackles. And then he had Matthew Cooks and Jason Patterson. Can you talk a little bit about that defensive unit as they continue to gel and what you look forward to as the season progresses and you get into SWAC play in terms of your defense?
Well, I'm expecting them to progress and be high up in the SWAC versus our defense. You know, Bogue is Bogue. He's a very good player. He have a chance to play at the next level, so he has given all he got. Patterson is coming along well. You know, these guys are brought here to win. These guys are brought here to sew up our defense. And that's what I told him yesterday is that you guys are brought here to make us a better team. And that's what they're doing.
Good morning, Coach TC. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. So Coach TC, your rushing attack, the defense, and the special teams, I feel like they've all been performing at a high level. The missing piece is the long passing game. So we've had some drop passes and missed opportunities. What type of changes are you going to do this week to finally get that last cylinder firing?
Yeah, I think that is well said. That's the one piece that that we have to improve on. I think it's the offensive pass game overall. To be honest with you, with all the talent that we have out there on the perimeter, we got to get more more vertical passes down the field, and we should be more explosive at this point. But like I said, it's early in the season. We got one more out of conference game going into this weekend to try to, work on things like that before we get to, and then we'll have the bye week, of course, after next week. But yeah, that's something we have to address. It's something that we're working on as coaches, because when you talk about a Jonas Fortillion, a Shamar Savage, a Nate Rembert, Janalen Dupree, all these dudes can really stretch the field. So that's something we're trying to figure out, and I think that's the last missing piece to this football team that we got to get corrected here. And just, it's something that we've been talking about in the meeting rooms as coaches as well. How do we, get some more down the field throws and get these guys to lock in and make those plays when the ball is in the air? And that's what I've been talking about with the players as well. Jacobian has to, when he has the opportunity to push the ball down the field, he has to have confidence and let that go. Trust in the pocket with the old linemen, and those receivers got to give those go up and make the plays. So I think that's the one missing piece that we got to work on and get right before we get to conference, to help complement this run game.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it. Well said. Great question.